Hello, I'm Ginny. I'm from the Little Sugar Rose. I predominantly make wedding cakes and I'm based on the Norfolk-Suffolk border. I've been invited today to join Jonathan and Emma at Wherstead Park as part of their virtual 12 Days of Christmas, and I'm delighted to show you today how to make some lovely gingerbread cookies, how to decorate them. So today we're going to be decorating a gingerbread man or a gingerbread lady with some royal icing and some pixie pearls. We're also going to look at decorating a little Christmas tree with some little baubles and a lovely gingerbread house front, again with royal icing and some lovely pixie pearls. But you can let your imaginations run wild and your creative spirits run wild as you decorate as you wish. You can buy a number of different gingerbread cutters. The ones I'm using or have been using are the large gingerbread man, a Christmas tree, and the house front. This is part of a gingerbread house set, but there are so many different cutters available on the market and you can have lots of fun trying different ones. And the decorations we're using are some little sprinkles, and some of these wonderful pixie pearls and some lovely silver balls, all perfect for Christmas decorations. So let's get started. So in this bag I have some royal icing. I'm actually using a royal icing mix, and you can buy it very easily from lots of good cake decorating supply shops. Just add some cool boiled water to the right consistency. The instructions are always on the back, and it provides lovely soft royal icing, so not very hard, and you're not going to break your teeth on it after you've decorated your wonderful cookies. So I'm also using a piping tip. Again, you can buy these from good cake decorating supply shops, but you can also use these piping bags, which are also very easy and straightforward to use. Just fill them about halfway up with your icing, fold over the top, and then snip a very tiny hole at the end. So let's get started. So I think I'll start with the Christmas tree. So these are cookies that I baked yesterday actually, and I'm just going to do some little garlands, snowy garlands, just from side to side. It really doesn't need to be neat, and in fact if it's not neat it all adds to the fun, because this is all handmade, and especially if you're going to give them as gifts, then people will enjoy seeing what you've made yourselves. So I'm using some little pearls to decorate the tree. You can obviously use your fingers. I'm just using tweezers because that's what I'm used to using. But I'm just putting some lovely little baubles on the Christmas tree to decorate. So you can put as many or as few as you wish, and obviously decorate as much or as little as you wish. Each of your creations is going to be your own personal creation and using your own individual style. So here we go. So a few more little baubles to go on the tree. The other thing that you can do when you're making the gingerbread cookies is just before you bake them, you can add a little hole in the end, in the top, as I have done on these, for instance. I just used a piping tip to make the hole here, but you could use a straw or the end of a spoon if you don't have a straw or a piping tip available. And then you can add a lovely pretty ribbon and add it and hang him or her from your Christmas tree. And the same with the Christmas tree here. I did the same with this one as well. And so we'll just finish decorating this lovely tree. Oops. And I think maybe one for the top of the tree. And there we have it. A very quick demonstration of how you can make a wonderful, pretty Christmas tree. Wonderful to give as a gift, also wonderful to eat yourself, and also lovely to hang from your Christmas tree. So the gingerbread recipe is going to be put up at the end of the video. It's very, very straightforward to make gingerbread. You put a number of different ingredients into the saucepan, bring it to the boil, let it cool for a bit, add some bicarbonate of soda and some flour, and then mix it all together and put in the fridge for a couple of hours. And then it will come out as a wonderful dough which you can roll out to about 1/2 centimetre thick. And then use your different cutters to create your wonderful shapes.
And Ginny, just to ask, how long will the gingerbread keep for?
The gingerbread, if you wrap the gingerbread, so I do have some little ones that I've made and wrapped. So long as they're airtight, they will last for about a month, maybe even a little bit more. But in our household, they don't last that long. So now I'm just going to show you this gingerbread house front. So we'll just do front door, oops, and maybe a little letterbox and a doorknob. And to the doorknob, I'm just going to add a little silver ball. One thing to remember when you're decorating your gingerbread is that you need to decorate while the icing is still wet. If the icing is dry, then all these lovely pearls are not going to attach to the icing, and you might need to start some of your decorations again. So then I'm just going to do some windows. So a couple of windows at the front of the house. Again, it doesn't need to be neat. In fact, it all adds to its charm, I think. Oops, if you have a little bit of an artistic detour.
Looks like my cottage.
It's also handy to have a little piece of kitchen paper to the side, so you can use that to wipe the tip of your icing. I also tend to use a little container of water. Just sometimes, if you do make quite a mistake, you can rectify it with just a damp paintbrush, obviously only used for food. And then just like with this squiggly line, I can just move that over, and nobody will ever know. And if you have some, and if you have sort of little, I mean, nothing, it doesn't need to be perfect, as I say, but you can sort of damp down some of the little sticky up, pointy parts with a little damp paintbrush. So we'll just do a little bit more on the windows. And make some lovely casement windows. So that's what we have so far. And then I'm just going to do some snowy window boxes. So just do lots of drippy icing underneath each window. And then you can use some of the lovely sprinkles to decorate those. So I'm just using a spoon, but you can obviously use, in fact I will use my fingers. So just use some fingers to just decorate those. And again, you can use your paintbrush, the tip that I mentioned earlier, So you can move your little pixie pearls around, fill in any gaps as you need to. You can also pick up the odd one that's gone on a little walk and add it to your window box. And then we have a couple of snowy window boxes. And I'm just going to give the little door a pretty wreath. So just again I'm just doing some large circles of icing to give the impression of a door wreath. And then add some little pixie pearls, which is a wonderful name, to your little Christmas wreath. And again, use your paintbrush to just tidy it up a little bit if you need to. The recipe that Wherstead Park will be putting up at the end, it includes an amount of plain flour, but you can obviously use gluten-free flour if you wish, if that's your preference. So it can be adapted. And then I'm just going to do a little bit on the roof, so to represent some snowy icicles. So just lots of just really loose decoration of the icing. I'm just squeezing the icing bag and then just bringing it backwards and forwards and bring it lots of different heights. And then to soften it up a little, just grab your paintbrush, dip it in some water and then just dab it, and that will make it all blend into one and give a nice finish. And then you can decorate the roof again with some little pearls. Obviously decorate as you wish. I'm just showing you one idea. And there we have our finished gingerbread house front. So a great thing to do in the run-up to Christmas, particularly Christmas Eve. It's a lovely thing to do as a family activity.
Fantastic. Right, I'm just going to pause there for a second. Okay, so recording again.
Okay, so just to finish off, we're just going to do a gingerbread man. So again, just as if you're using one of these piping bags or even one of these, as you're using the icing, just remember to keep pushing the icing down so that it comes down to the tip. And the same with this one. Once you've filled it halfway through, fold over the end, and then you just keep pushing the icing down. And you hold them a bit like you would hold a pen or a pencil. And with this one, twist the end as well. Right, with this one, I quite like to give my gingerbread men an outline, so I'm literally just going to follow the shape of the gingerbread around his head or her head and arms. And when you're icing, a tip is to keep the icing above the cookie rather than touching the cookie. If you want to finish, as I have done here, just to have a breather, then just bring the icing tip down onto the cookie. Otherwise, just hold it just a couple of millimeters above the cookie, and you can guide with your other hand. I tend to use my index finger of my other hand as a guide, and then just bring it round. So it's very wet at this point, and it would smudge if I if I were to touch it. I've got a couple of little extra bits of icing here which I would rather not have, so I'm just going to use my paintbrush to remove those and add them to the kitchen paper and then blend in. And then he needs some eyes, so I'm just going to squeeze 2 circles for his eyes, and I'm just going to dab those down a little bit with my brush. A lovely happy mouth for Christmas. And then some cute buttons. So 1, 2, 3. And for his very fetching suit, I'm going to add some silver balls as his buttons. You can see how handy a paintbrush is, just to save any accidents. I'm also going to give him, I'm going to imagine this is Christmas Eve and he's all dressed up, so I'm going to give him a lovely fetching bow tie. So to do a bow tie, you literally do 2 triangles. So there's 1 and 2, and then just fill in. So that's him so far. And then I'm going to add some green and purple pixie pearls on his tie. There we are. Because he's been outside and it's snowy outside, I think we'll just give him some little booties. And decorate those as well. So there we have, just going to tidy that up a little. And there we have our little gingerbread man. And as I say, you could, with these I had made a hole so that they could be attached, I could attach some ribbon and hang them from the Christmas tree. Or alternatively, you can buy some food-safe cellophane bags from the internet, probably from a cake decorating supply shop, and then make them some wonderful gift. So that makes a lovely gift. And then you can tie these with ribbon as well.
Fantastic.
Lovely. And if you're biscuit and cake challenged, like I am, can we order them from you?
Yes, you can. So I actually have a DIY gingerbread cookie kit available on my website. I believe the link is being put up at the end. It's £15, and for that you receive all pre-baked cookies. So I think there are 2 large gingerbread figures and 2 small, so this size. Also 2 Christmas trees and a house front. Also a selection of the pixie pearls, the silver pearls, and I don't think it mentions these, but I will also include these lovely sprinkles because these are great for especially for decorating the Christmas tree. And I also include some piping bags, some of these piping bags. So you basically have everything you need to decorate your cookies. If you particularly would like cookies that have the hole in, just add a note during the checkout process. There's a box towards the end of the checkout process, and just say that you'd like to hang yours from the Christmas tree, and then I'll make sure to add some little holes in the top for you. Otherwise, have fun making your wonderful Christmas gingerbread cookies. And thank you to Jonathan and to Emma at Wherstead Park for inviting me to take part in this wonderful virtual 12 Days of Christmas. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you.